sure you've been on your fair share of space vessels during your travels. Now, you may have noticed that the Alabaster has more origami swans than your average deep space vessel. Well, let me demystify you on the matter. Origami was one of Pistachio's fondest pastimes. And credit to her, she wasn't half bad. Her augmented hands probably helped her out. She started out making all sorts, but quickly found the swan to be her favorite. We'd find them in the weirdest places. She knew we all laughed about it. We'd be given multiple swans a week, all different sizes and colors. But honestly, that's just Pistachio. Everything she did was in the interest of making us feel good. I miss those swans. To know how this all started. I was just thinking about Pistachio some more. All of this, it started with her. After the failed probe launch, things started to go wrong. Equipment began intermittently acting funky, the ship was drifting more often, and Canary's readings of the planet were all over the place. Then Pistachio just disappeared. And I don't mean she ran off or anything. She literally just vanished. She wasn't on the ship anymore. All her stuff was still here, all the escape pods still in the bay. We searched. All we found were the clothes she was wearing on the floor in her lab. And her hands. Canary who first realized the planet had something to do with Pistachio's disappearance. After the probe, Canary increased the number of readings she was taking on the planet. She had seen an increase of anomalous readings across the board right up to the day Pistachio disappeared. Then they just stopped. For a time. Then the anomalies started to crop up again, but faster than before. We had to leave. If the timing of the anomalies before was anything more than coincidental, then we were in danger. I've never prepped a ship for long-distance travel so quickly before. Not that it mattered. We were all set to leave, but when we tried, we realized we couldn't escape the planet's gravity. It was like it had somehow gained mass. And every time we put more power to the engines, the planet would pull back. Only harder. Look, I understand the importance of keeping fit. I do, really. But Vermilion's mandatory daily workouts were a burden on my soul. We had to wear these wristbands that would track how far we'd run on any given day and relay our progress back to Vermilion. Naturally, I endeavored to find a shortcut. Initially, I just tried to cram all of my week's quota into a single day, leaving me with 6 days off. Genius, right? I just about managed it, but Vermilion told me that not only was that borderline dangerous, it was just not how this works. Anyway, I eventually found a use for those cats I was telling you about. Turns out they get around quite a bit, so I just attached my wristband to the most excitable one and forgot about it for a while. It took Vermilion longer than I'm comfortable admitting to work out what I'd done. I've never been much into food. Eating was just something I did out of necessity. That was until Vermilion started cooking for us. He cooked this one thing, he called it a roast. It was meat, chicken, if I remember correctly, and some vegetables. It was all cooked together in an oven, and to top off this madness, we then covered it all in a delicious brown liquid. Apparently it's a big thing in some places on Earth. And my God, I see why. This thing is where the ship's fuel is stored before it's piped into the reactor next door. It's lightweight and super efficient. Or so I'm told. My job is to fly this ship, not top it up. Personally, though, I think it looks a little bit like a sad bear. See what I mean? Those raised bits sticking out of the sides sort of look like eyebrows. And the bit at the front is like his... No? Not seeing it? Alright then. You found it. The Alabaster's best-kept secret. The most exclusive bar this side of the firmament. You're now one of only 3 people that know of its existence. Introducing Space Drink, made by our very own Mr. Marmalade. Light and fruity, inspired by both the condiment that is his namesake and unwanted food from around the Alabaster. This is the best way to get a little morning buzz without eating into those all-valuable Philcore reward credits. Try one if you'd like, but save at least a couple for me. Ah, so you've discovered our source of gravity. Nifty, huh? It's fairly common to see big ships like ours create artificial gravity by spinning, but not us. No, we have fancy gravity. It just sits there doing its thing, and then everything goes nicely downwards, as it should. Of course, the one main drawback to a system like this is that while it's pretty hard to stop a ship from spinning, it's remarkably easy to hit a button labeled off. I was on a delivery job before joining Philcore, where someone, not me, turned off the gravity one morning as a sort of ship-wide prank. It was chaos. Stuff everywhere. The hold was a mess. It caused a lot more damage than they intended. So don't touch anything. realized that we couldn't distance ourselves from the planet, we had an emergency meeting with the captain. She was as reliable as ever, calm and collected. Our first instinct was to use the escape pods, as we thought they might be small enough to escape the planet's pull. She told us to hold tight, though. It was her that reminded us where we were. On the frontier. The middle of nowhere. Sure, we could probably escape, but we'd be light years away from civilization, in a canister, with minimal rations and no cryosleep pods. Besides, what if I was wrong and they couldn't escape the pull either? If we could, we had to keep the alabaster. Aubergine and Marmalade had started work on something as soon as they realized that we were stuck. They pitched it to the captain in that meeting. They called them anchors. With the captain's permission, Aubergine and Marmalade began their work developing the anchors. They never really stopped to properly explain them to me. Just said that they were designed to block out whatever magic space waves took Pistachio. Oh, that and they're short range. Gotta have them everywhere to cover the whole ship. Canary helped them, running around, performing tests, advising them on this and that. I couldn't help. I'm no engineer, no scientist. What was I supposed to do? To level with you, in that moment, I didn't want to help them anyway. I just lost Pistachio. I couldn't care less about helping ourselves. tore the place apart installing them. Panels, vents, furniture. Nothing was safe from those two. Cables everywhere. I was always tripping over them and then taking my anger out on whoever was closest. Not fair of me, I know. I was in a bad place. Not proud of how I acted at that time. Soon enough, the anchors were all over the ship, with just one place left to cover. The bridge. That actually meant I could be somewhat useful. I had to pull myself together, sit in the cockpit, and keep tabs on the ship's systems. Make sure the anchors were integrating properly. What could go wrong? Pistachio's flower. It's in bloom. I can't believe it. She missed it by a few weeks. I'm gonna need a few minutes. The door was already closed when they flipped the switch. I sealed my own fate with that one. My whole console flared up and then shorted out. It was bright enough that the terminal keys left an imprint on my vision. To make things worse, I spilled my coffee in the process. I tried running out to the bridge to tell the others, but the door wouldn't open. I kept just mashing the release button. Nothing happened. I never really felt claustrophobic before, but in that moment I did. I had to calm down, slow my breathing. It took Vermilion yelling through the door to finally get my head back together. Then, all I could do was wait. I, too, was taken aback by the air in here. I've never felt air that was, well, wet before. Breathing feels different. Right now it probably feels a little uncomfortable, maybe a bit much. But once you leave the greenhouse, you'll quickly realize that all other air has been selling you short your whole life. As if it's missing key ingredients, like a cake without icing. In the same way that a delicious icing-clad cake spoils all future uniced cakes, the air in here, it ruins the air in the rest of the ship. You see, the thing with cake is that once you have the first special one with that moist, fluffy sponge, a gooey, fruity jam center, and then the icing, both soft and crunchy, decorative yet delicious. Where was I again? I lost myself for a moment there.